ESPN 1420 and .com. Welcome back to the Mellow Mushroom, everybody. We're at the corner of Johnson Street and Duce Road. Steve Peloquin and Dan McDonald this evening. Dan nice enough to fill in for the G-Man Gerald Broussard. And
who is in Holland.
Holland. The man's in Holland. And every Monday night we feature a new local school here at the Mellow Mushroom. And tonight our featured school is the Lafayette Christian Academy Knights, who picked up a big District 7-1A victory over Acadiana on Friday evening. Join us right now, the head football coach of Lafayette Christian Academy, Coach Derek Landry. And Coach, first off, congratulations on the victory. It was homecoming night. I guess my first question is, any concerns about homecoming? I mean, you got all kind of activities going on, and I know that, you know, the players even tell themselves, look, we're going to stay focused, but it's hard for a young guy to do. Were you concerned at all about the activities of homecoming?
Well, at first we were. You know, our big thing with the guys was telling them haven't won a homecoming there yet. You know, so our whole thing was, let's make history. Let's be the first team to win. And I think our guys handled it really well. You know, they stayed focused. They practiced. We probably had the best week of practice we ever had. And it's looking like it's carrying over this week so far as well. So we're really proud of the way they handled it.
I'm going to let Dan ask you a couple of questions here in just a second, but let's talk about the play of your freshman quarterback, Zach Clement. Now, I understand it's a team game, and, you know, the offensive line has to do the blocking, but he's the first play from scrimmage, I want to say, he went 87 yards for a score. Second play from scrimmage, it was like 67 yards, and the third play, 72 yards. So the first three offensive plays, he went right up the middle. He set a school record, about 330 yards rushing. He had a fabulous night. Now, obviously, you didn't expect that. But was there something going into the game that maybe you thought you could attack rushing-wise from Acadiana that you thought might be successful there?
Well, we thought going in that we would be able to run the ball effectively. We didn't really expect to run the way we did, especially the first three plays of the game. They actually came out in something defensively that we had never seen them do on film. So when they lined up against us, we were like, you know, man, what is this? What are they doing? What are they thinking? You know, they're cover zero. There's no safeties. There's no help over the backfield. And as soon as he broke the second level, we just knew that they weren't going to be able to catch him, especially with no help over the top.
Acadiana's not that bad a football team that you made them look. 49-0, obviously, people look at it and say, you know, well, you played just a nobody. Their team already won a couple times this year. They were 2-3. I think y'all's district is really unique in the fact that everybody in the district has already won a district game this early. I mean, that tells you that this was not just, you know, a blowout over a far inferior team. Your guys just played very, very well.
They did, and like I said, we're really proud of the way they played and the way they showed up and just the focus, especially after the Highland game. You know, we're disappointed in the way that one turned out. That's one we felt that we let get away from us, you know. Acadiana had some big old kids. I mean, they weren't little by any means. You know, they were big, and I know you talk about our district and it being unique. You know, we're keeping track with the playoffs, with the rankings and stuff. You know, our district is 1, 2, 3, 11, and 12 right now.
Yeah, you have the best Class A district in the state, bar none.
And I think Hanson's 13 or 14. So we're 1, 2, 3, 11, 12, and like 13 or 14. So we're pretty loaded.
When did you know that Zach was going to be the guy that was going to run your offense?
Probably, I guess, week 2, whenever he had to go in for Lauraville for Regan. You know, Regan went down. You know, he took a shot to the mouth. He had to come out. Zach went in the middle of the third quarter and just played way better than we thought he was going to play. You know, we were expecting for him to take over next year and not take over so soon. But he played so well, and then after the game, Regan came up to me and said, you know, Coach, I think I can help the team better as a running back, a receiver, safety, special teams, you know, just, you know, let me play, let me help the team, and I think Zach's ready. So we went ahead and made the switch.
And obviously your offense got a lot of attention with all the rushing yardage and, you know, the big plays and so forth. But your defense also pitched a shutout against Acadiana. Tell me a little bit about your defensive play and about what you've done this year to sort of, you know, bring them back around.
Well, you know, defensively, we've been really proud of those guys. You know, we had, I want to say, 8 new faces on defense. We graduated a lot of guys, and they've been playing really, really well this year. You know, if you look at the scoreboards, it looks like, you know, we've been giving up a lot of points, but really that's not the case. You know, we've had a really big problem with turnovers, and our turnovers are special because they've been going for touchdowns. So if you take away, you know, the couple of touchdowns we're giving up on offense every week, the defense hasn't played bad. And you know, they pitched a shutout and they had 2 scores themselves as well. So it was a really great effort by those guys.
Tell us about what attracted you to the job at Lafayette Christian Academy in the first place. I mean, and I'm not just saying this because y'all are here. I've seen every game that y'all played except one this year, and it really is a special place with some special people. You got some good coaches working for you. Basketball program, of course, one of the top in the state and really in the South everywhere. But it really seems like a family type of atmosphere. It's a place where I think people are competitive, but yet at the same time they understand that at the end of the day it's just a game. Tell us what makes Lafayette Christian so special and what attracted you to the job in the first place.
Honestly, I didn't even know who LCA was before we played them. I was at AES. We started the program at AES, Randy Johnson and myself, and I was there for I think 4 years, and we played LCA the last 2 years. And when I walked on the campus the last year we were there and we played them, and I looked around at the facilities and I met with Pastor Jay and I got to meet Mr. Savoy and all of those guys, and I looked at Randy Johnson and said, you know what, if this job ever comes open, this is where I want to be. You know, it's just the crowd was just so welcoming, the people were welcoming, and like you said, the family atmosphere just kind of knew it. It's just something I felt when I was there that I really wanted to be there.
You got an opportunity here to finish out the year strong, but of course, as Dan mentioned, you know, it's a great district. But you got Hanson. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think LCA has ever defeated Hanson. And then you got Centerville, who
3 wins.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they've won a couple of games this year. I mean, you know, they're by no means going to be a slouch. And then, of course, we closed the year with 2 teams that had a great game last Friday night in VC and Ascension Episcopal. So an opportunity for you to pick up some wins, but at the same time, the level of competition you're going to be playing, you know that you're going to have to play really well to get those W's.
Well, you know, we scheduled our pre-district schedule to get ready for district. I mean, I put Lauraville and Ville Platte and Elton on the schedule for
Ville Platte, a 3A
right
school.
Yeah, Ville Platte's 3A, and when we played them, they hadn't allowed a touchdown, you know, or more than 100 yards of offense at the time, and we went over there and put up 36 and beat them pretty handily. So, you know, we feel like we're getting the pieces in place. We're getting some key guys healthy at the right time. We're starting to click, and we think that we can close off the season really strong and make a push into the playoffs.
And I know that the difference between this program now and a couple of years ago is that you think you can not only make the playoffs but make a push when you go into the playoffs. Do you feel, and this program is still building, I know it's a solid program, but it's not where you want to be yet. I mean, you know, can you sense the difference now compared to a couple of years ago? Can you see the building blocks in place and the fruits of your labor, so to speak?
Well, the culture's definitely changing. You know, that was kind of the big thing, was getting the culture changed. You know, I mean, I know you guys know how it is. Football is kind of a different animal, and it takes a certain kind of culture and a certain type of people to play it and be successful, and we're definitely going in that direction. And we're really happy with the way it goes, and we feel like if we get in, and we get in at the right spot, we can definitely win a few games in the playoffs.
Well, you're not just, as Steve said the last couple of years, it's just, can we get in? Can we get in? Can we get in? Now you're a couple wins away from not only getting in, you're going to get a pretty good seed as far as power points, because even if a couple games don't go like you want them to, they're going to be against teams that are going to be first, second, third as far as power. You're going to be in a really, really good shape at the end of the year, and that's got to going into the playoffs with a home game or with one of those games like middle of the pack, that makes so much difference in having to play, somebody who's in that top 2 or 3 teams across this whole state just right out of the bat.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, that was kind of the reason we went where we went with the scheduling. You know, Lauraville, they're 2A, they're going to win 8 games. You know, Elton's going to win 7 or 8 games.
Good football team, I thought.
You know, Ville Platte's going to probably win 5 or 6. So I mean, that's good. And then we opened up with Central Catholic already. They're probably going to go 10-0. 9-1 at worst. AES is going to win 8 or 9. BC is going to win 7, 8 or 9. So Highland's going to win 7 or 8. So we've got to, like you said, power points wise, we should be set up really well.
I saw the game earlier this year when AE played Hanson and so forth, and AE handled them pretty good. But Hanson does a few things very well. What have you been able to see from them that you have to sort of be prepared for?
Well, you know, in some games you watch, they come out and they throw the ball all over the place. Some games they come out and they line up double tight with a fullback and they run the ball down your throat. So, you know, it's going to kind of be one of those deals where we're preparing for two different styles. You know, are they going to come out and try to run it on us, or are they going to come out and try to throw it on us? You know, defensively, you know, they ran a 4-man front against us last year. They ran a 5-man front. Teams tend to do things a little differently when they play us because of what we do offensively. So, you know, it's kind of a wait-and-see approach sometimes from other teams defensively as well.
Okay, after we take the break, you said you wanted to kind of maybe push somebody on the air. Who are we going to be talking to?
I'm not sure yet. I'm going to have to see if I could maybe swindle somebody to come on.
Sounds good. But before I let you go, the most important question that's asked each and every week on this show of a high school football coach: who was your favorite wrestler growing up, or your favorite wrestler now?
I'll give you a couple of them. I was a big Ultimate Warrior fan.
Oh, Ultimate Warrior.
And then The Undertaker was my other guy. Yes, sir.
Well, that's the difference. And man, one guy just runs down the aisle with all kind of energy, and another guy just strolls, the dead man.
Well, I was younger, man, when I was an Undertaker guy. I liked the energy and the excitement and you know, just, you know, the music and shaking the ropes and stuff. And as I got a little bit older, I just kind of, you know, the Undertaker with the gong and the lights and the you know, a little more seriousness.
So now, if well, let's take last week for example. Say you would have played on a Thursday, okay? Ascension is playing VC, okay? I mean, you know what happened at the end of the game. Ascension drove down the field and they scored a touchdown. Could you imagine a scenario where the lights would have went off and you like have you know, come up from under the ground, grab your hand, and then grab, you know, like Michael Desimo and Coach Kuntz, and I mean, just grab them and take them to, you know, dead man land? That would be you?
that would probably be me, I guess, yeah.
Derek Landry, I appreciate you joining us here this evening, Coach. Thanks for the crowd. Thanks for letting us know what LCA night football is all about. Congratulations on the big victory, and at least I'll see you Friday evening over at Hanson.
Perfect. Thank y'all for having us on, and I'll see if I can convince somebody else to come on and chit-chat with you.
There you go. Derek Landry, head coach of the LCA Knights. Let's give him a hand, everybody. Derek Landry. Derek Landry, man, pepperoni pizza guy?
Nah, I like weird stuff.
The man likes weird stuff. I mean, but tell you what, you want great pizza, it's Mellow Mushroom right here at the corner of Johnson Street and Duce Road. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll see if Coach Landry wants to push somebody over here to the microphones, and if not, Dan and I will certainly talk some NFL football. We'll recap the Saints and talk a little bit about tonight's Monday Night Football matchup and preview the Saints Thursday night. Keep in mind, they're taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Steve Peliquin, Dan McDonald from the Mellow Mushroom, back with more of the Acadiana Postgame Coaches Show right after this, ESPN 1420 and .com.
You're listening to the Acadiana Postgame Coaches Show, live from the Mellow Mushroom.
ESPN 1420 and .com. Welcome back to the Mellow Mushroom, everybody. Corner of Johnson Street and Duce Road for the Acadiana Postgame Coaches Show. Steve Peliquin, joined by Dan McDonald, filling in for the G-Man Gerald Broussard, who's listening over in the Netherlands here this evening. It's LCA night tonight at here at the Mellow Mushroom. Joining me right now, Regan Miller, who I you know, before the season, I would have introduced you as the quarterback. Now you're the running back, but that doesn't bother you at all, didn't it? Explain the difference of positions, if any, and the importance to you.
I mean, I'm not worried about the position really. Coach felt, and I agreed, that Zach, we knew coming into the season, we knew physically that he could handle a football game. He had the skill level, and we were just worried about mentally, you know, coming in as a freshman.
Yeah.
And I went down against Laurelville. We were playing Laurelville, and I went down, and he stepped up, and he didn't miss a step at all. So we knew he was there physically, and then once we saw he was there mentally, we let him loose, and now I'm kind of everywhere on the offense.
Yeah, you know, you do play everywhere, but I would also assume that your experience at the position, you know in the position, that you still somewhat of a mentor to Zach as well, absolutely. Too. You're kind of a coach absolutely. On the field, and you appreciate that role.
Yeah, I love it, and I feel like it'll help Zach a lot. You know, having a senior there that knows the offense, knows the system, kind of coach them during a play, in the huddles, out the huddles, on the field.
Now, give me some of your favorite football players growing up, either college or the NFL.
I don't know why, but I've always liked Jacob Hester. When he came out of LSU, he ended up going to the Chargers. I don't know how much he did in the NFL, but I always liked Jacob Hester for some reason. And Tim Tebow is my man. He still is. I was heartbroken when they let him go because they just picked him up, and I thought maybe he'd do something, but they let him back off.
I understand. Now, in terms of a favorite NFL team?
I don't know. I've never really cared much about the NFL. I'm more of a college football.
Okay.
I kind of root for the Saints more.
Just more than anything.
Yeah, more than anything. I would go for the Saints.
I understand. Now, big win for you guys last week against Gator, and Zach, first 3 plays from scrimmage, there he goes. I mean, I know that you don't expect to have runs like that every time that every time the quarterback takes off or whatnot, but you think that any given game y'all could run it as well as throw it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Zach's arm is almost as equal as his legs. Gator they weren't respecting his legs at all, so he was just taking advantage, as you saw the first 3 plays on offense. But yeah, he'll let it fly just as good as he'll run it.
Describe what LCA, or playing at LCA, being a student there. Describe what that means to you, to Regan Miller.
I grew up K4, K5, all the way now I'm in 12th grade, so it means a lot. I take a lot of pride in my school, in my classes, and everything when it comes down to it. And Fridays at home are kind of what we look forward to every week. Now,
rate Coach Landry for me on the radio here. You think he did good? Good interview.
Yeah.
You like his answer about the Ultimate Warrior and the Undertaker?
Yeah, I was listening from over there.
Okay, describe a game day from your point of view. Any kind of superstitions or anything? Any kind of music that you listen to? Any kind of food that you eat? Is there a ritual that you go through during the course of the day?
Not much. I feel like actually when I was at quarterback, it was a lot more tense on me. I don't know, maybe just the quarterback, the responsibilities and everything. So I had more just stay focused, not cutting up, and then kind of moving out of that quarterback role. I kind of loosened up a little bit. And I actually think it helped moving but I don't know. I'm not really a routine guy.
Now you a TV? You a movie guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me 1 or 2 of your favorite TV shows.
TV shows is White Collar. I love it's like
on the USA Network.
Huh?
On the USA Network.
Sure.
USA Network has White Collar, doesn't it? The USA Network?
Oh yeah. Yes,
okay.
Sorry.
And what about a movie? Give me a movie that you only have one more movie to watch right now. What would it be?
One movie to watch: Batman Begins.
Bad News Bears and Breaking Train? No. He says, that's an inside joke. No, don't worry about it. But congratulations on the victory last weekend, Regan. And it really takes a special human being, a special player to accept the role. And I know you were all for it, but it worked out well for the team, and you deserve a pat on the back for it, my friend.
Thank you.
We're at Regan Miller, everybody. Well, again, almost said it. How would you? Last question. How would you describe yourself? Kind of like utility player?
Yeah, athlete.
Yeah, there you go, athlete.
Everywhere.
Something that I would never be described as. Appreciate it, Regan.
Not a problem.
Regan did a good job. We could re-switch these during the break, but one of the things, Dan, about doing these shows is you get to know players and athletes a little bit more, and you've been covering high school football and high school sports for a long time. You really get to know some of these kids, and like us, people ask me who I root for, and really, I don't really root for anybody. I'll root for all the Acadiana teams in the playoffs, but whenever Turlings wins, I'm happy for Sonny Saponche. Whenever St. Thomas More wins, I'm happy for Jim Hightower. I mean, when you can't help but develop a relationship with kids and players when you're a member of the media.
Well, we're very lucky in this area that we have great people in charge of our high school athletic programs. I mean, you can just go down the list. You mentioned some. There's so many others that are involved. The guys like, Ted Davidson of Acadiana. We've got Doug Dotson back in this area now over at Como. He's going to do the job over there.
Yes.
You know that's going to happen. You can just go on and on and on and talk about all these people. It is great to have this level, not just this level of football coach, this level of human beings that are in charge of these programs around in the Acadiana area. We're just very lucky to have these kind of guys. And you talk about relationships with the players and with the coaches. That the one thing, I was a sports information director for about 27 years.
Yeah.
And on a couple of different levels. And that's the one thing I miss about it. I don't have that everyday relationship with a lot of those, and I still call them kids, even though they're I don't have that every day, and I don't have that everyday relationship with the coaches. That's the one thing I miss about it. I don't miss all those 24-hour days, but the one thing I miss is those kind of relationships.
And, we have, more schools now playing football than what we did because of, LCA, one, Ascension Episcopal, a couple of schools in this district. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like it's watered down either. I mean, if anything, we got more Acadiana schools that are going deep into the playoffs now than ever before.
Well, you have more options. I mean, you have more people that are involved in these programs. You give kids a chance that might not get the chance to play, if they were at a 5A school. They might not get that chance to. They'd probably play some, but you wouldn't be might not be a regular in the lineup. This gives you a whole lot more opportunities for young men, to see action. And these are for 90% of kids that play high school football, that's the highest level they're ever going to play. Why not make that very, very special? And I think that's what being able to do what a lot of the schools around here are doing, that's what makes that happen.
And one of the things that I like, last week we had Ascension Episcopal as our featured school here, and Michael Desimo and the athletic director Mouton talked about it. Now tonight, LCA is our featured school. Derek Landry talked about it. They are putting an importance on the district championship. And you know me, I'm not an everybody gets a trophy guy. I explained this last week. They have an 8-man race. If you come out 7th, I don't think you deserve a trophy. But we've also taken away some important trophies, that being the district championship. When I was growing up, they used to hang banners for winning a district championship. Now, because of the power ratings, a lot of schools kind of look at it as a district championship. But the schools here in District 7-1A, and maybe because they're still young and it's something that they're building upon, teams like LCA and Ascension Episcopal are making it a point to put an importance on the district championship, and I just think that's great.
Well, Coach Landry mentioned something that really struck me. He said, they've never won a homecoming game until this past week.
Not unbelievable?
That is, that's something that, it is a step, and that district championship is a step. District championships, do they mean the same as they used to? Obviously, that's not the case anymore. Especially, go back, I date myself. You can go all the way back to that time when the only people that got into the postseason were those district champions.
Yeah.
Now, with the power ratings and so forth, a lot more people get in. I'm all for those opportunities to get into the playoffs and so forth. But the downside of that is the district play has sort of gotten, shoved by the wayside. And if you win a district, it's in some people's minds, it's not that important. I'm glad that they're emphasizing it over, especially in this district, because this is a really, really good Class A district. I mean, you look at the state rankings, and especially we were just talking about the PowerPoints and how we're not really fans of them, but look at where these district teams are in the PowerPoints. This is a unbelievably strong Class A district.
No doubt about it. And our Acadiana Postgame Coaches Show Player of the Week, LCA quarterback Zach Plymouth, who rushed for a school record 330 yards last week against Gaydon. Dan and I will be here for the next 15 minutes or so. We're here at the Mellow Mushroom, corner of Johnson Street and Ducey Road. We're here each and every Monday evening from 7:30 until 8:30 with another featured school. We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, Dan, we'll do our NFL power ratings. Still some undefeated teams. I'm going to see if you would have all those ranked in your top 5, or maybe even a team that's maybe, 4-1 or even 3-1 that you would say, hey, maybe they just got upset once. So we'll do our NFL power polls. We'll talk Saints, look back at yesterday's loss, and also look ahead to our Thursday night matchup with the Atlanta Falcons. We'll do that as the Acadiana Postgame Coaches Show continues right here, ESPN 1420 and .com.